going on, guys? Lawson Turner back with another episode of the Cover 2 podcast. Now, let's dive straight into the first of last night's games that we're going to be discussing today. The Cleveland Cavaliers went into Boston in Game 2, and they won convincingly over the Celtics. I was surprised of the total outcome, but when I did a deep dive into, rewatching the game and looking at the box score and things of that nature, this game was close throughout. Like, we saw the Celtics jump up to a early, early 9-point lead, and the Cavs just refused to go away. They refused to go away. They ended the first quarter strong and won the first quarter, and then the Celtics won the second quarter, and the score was tied at half. It was a tied game at the half, and I was waiting for Boston's others to step up because Jason Tatum, by far, in my opinion, played his best game of the playoffs, and it wasn't even a total good game. Like, overall, like 25 points, good. 7 rebounds, good. But we've seen Jason Tatum average double-digit rebounds for the entirety of the postseason thus far. 6 assists. That's what he does. He's leading the team in assists per game in the playoffs, which is good, but he wasn't efficient. 7 for 17 from the floor. Like, what are we like? We expect Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics to play how they normally play every game. And what did I mention in game 1? Live by the 3, die by the 3. And they died by this game. They were 8 for 35. That's 22.9%. It's not enough. You're not going to beat anybody shooting 23% from 3. Now, let's stop talking about what Boston didn't do and let's talk about what Cleveland did do. They won the bench battle. They won the offensive rebound battle. They shot better from the floor. And they needed one person off the bench to step up, and it was Karis LeVert. 21 points off the bench was fantastic. It was the spark that they need off the bench because when Donovan sits, because he's not going to sit for long, it's playoff time. All your starters are going to play bigger minutes. When he's not on the floor, where's your offense coming from? Who's your scorer? Because Donovan's there to score. We know what Donovan Mitchell is. Scorer. Bona fide. Someone that can. We saw him in game 6 of just last series. He dropped 50. And in this game he played sensational. 29 points. And he made a 3-point buzzer beater at the end of the third quarter. That was kind of it wasn't a nail in the coffin, but it was a single digit game with 5 seconds left in the third quarter, and he smacks at 3. Now it's 12, and Boston's kind of like, I saw them get a little tight in the fourth quarter, honestly. Like from the from the 11:30 mark in the fourth to the 4:06 minute mark in the fourth, 22-7. It was a 22-7 run by the Cleveland Cavaliers in that 7-minute stretch. And that was basically your ball game. Now let's dive into the players that I think made the most impact for the Cleveland Cavaliers this game. The Donovan Mitchell, like I said, sensational. 29 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Was extremely efficient for his volume of shots that he gets on a per game basis. 10 of 19, 5 of 7 for 3. Fantastic. Evan Mobley, fantastic game as well. 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. 9 for 15 from the floor, 1 for 2 from 3. And if Evan Mobley can at least make you respect his 3-point shooting, he's going to be monstrous for years to come. Like, he's already a really good defensive player. He has good touch when he's around the rim. If he can extend his game to 3-point line, it'd be awesome. They were missing Jared Allen again with his rib injury that he suffered in the first round. I don't know when he's going to be available this series. Hopefully, game three, so we can kind of get a real gauge as to how these teams match up in the series. Because through two games, it's 1-1 with no Jared Allen. And in one game, Boston was raining threes. And maybe when Jared Allen's back, it won't matter because due to Boston spacing, he'll be like his strengths will be not deteriorated due to his injury or anything of that nature. I mean, yes, but I want to see how can Boston scheme him away from what he does well. Good rim protector, good glass cleaner. Can they generate enough space to get him away from the basket? Now, they were dominating the paint early, and they were dominating it in the third too. But they couldn't. They couldn't. If they were in a rowboat, they couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. They just couldn't. And you look at the Cavs, it's not that they were lighting up. I mean, they made 13 out of the 28 threes that they took. So they're not taking as they're not a high volume 3-point shooting team like Boston is. That's what Boston does. They're gonna upchuck the woodchuck when it comes to shooting threes. And if they go in, they're sitting pretty. And if not, it's gonna look like last night. They don't crack 100 and they get whomped by 24. It is what it is. Like I mentioned earlier, Karis LeVert was the Cavs' spark off the bench. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 9 for 17 from the floor. Fantastic. I thought Darius Garland played a better game than what he did game one. He looked more engaged. Now he only took 8 shots, but he made 5 of them. He was 5 of 8 total from the floor, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He was, you know, that's what Darius Garland can provide, and he was also 4 for 5 from the 3-point line. So it just looked he was more comfortable. Now we know for game ones of the majority of series, it's a feel out game. You're gonna know, okay, this team's gonna play me this way, this team's gonna play me that way. They're gonna roll from the weak side this way. They're gonna rotate from the strong side this way. How are they gonna, you know, guard our pick roll and our primary action? Now let's move on to the 4 players that I thought showed up or refused to for the Celtics. Jason Tatum, like I mentioned earlier, good game, 25 points, 7 of 17. We want to see JT be more efficient because he's talented enough to do so. He's talented enough to, if he shoots it 17 times, he'll make, 12, 13 of them. We've seen it. But he still, to me, just hasn't had a good postseason so far. And like I said, I thought this was his best game, and they lost. I thought Jaylen Brown was poor. I thought it was a poor performance from game one to game two. Only 19 points on the exact same shooting percentage Jason Tatum had, 7 for 17. I just thought he wasn't very good. Now, there were a couple just. There was the one ugly turnover where all the memes come up that Jaylen Brown can't dribble with his left hand, and he tried to cross over and just kind of just gave it to the defender. I don't remember who it was, but like 0 for 6 from 3 too. That's no bueno. The Celtics can't have that. They need their 2 stars and at least one other role player to step up, whether that be Peyton Pritchard off the bench. Since Porzingis isn't here, Al Horford, we're going to need, more. Drew Holiday, who had. This is your. Not Drew Holiday game, but like. This is what. Not what you're going to expect. Let me not put it this way. Like, he had 4 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. We don't expect him to carry the bulk of the load offensively. But with no Porzingis, 4 points, it's unacceptable. It like and missed both the threes he took. He's just bad. Now, Derek White had a regression to the mean. Now, it wasn't. It was below how he's played all year long, and all postseason he's been on a heater. Especially over the past week and a half, he's been awesome. But for your, he's a to me he's a star role player. He's a star in the role that he plays for the Celtics. Now he had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, which you know he's been lighting up over the past week and a half. And in this game, he shot 3 for 11, 1 for 8 from three. So when it comes to Game 3 in Cleveland, like obviously we still love the Celtics in this series and probably in the East, depending upon whoever they play, whether it be the Pacers or the Knicks. But this is what it looks like if they don't hit threes. Just ugly. And they get blown off their home court. Now, granted, they haven't been a good home playoff team under Joe Mazzulla, but I think that they'll bounce back and win Game 3. And if not, then they're going to be in trouble because you don't have that 7-3 you don't have that 7-3 monster who can space the floor if Tatum and Brown are just not in rhythm, or they need something to just they need a quick bucket. They can Jason Tatum, for me, he takes too many. Just he has the ability to break down and get past the first defender, but then he'll, for whatever reason, settle for a step back jumper, especially from three, and it's like that's a high difficult shot, and he's talented enough to make it, but it's not the best shot. So for Game 3, I'm picking the Celtics to bounce back and win. That's not really much of a shocker. Well, I didn't expect them to shit the bed Game 2 at home. Well, that's all I have for you guys in this video. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at the Cover2Pod26. Link will also be in the description. And who do you guys think is going to win Game 3? And are the Celtics in trouble? Well, for the Cover 2 podcast, I'm Lawson Turner. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.